So, before I get to the important stuff, all right, that's obviously the Heat taking that ass last night against the Knicks. I got to tell you, we had a great time at Universal, had a fun time at the Magic game. Hotel was awesome. We stayed at the Universal Resort. But there is nothing like getting back home onto my bed and onto my sheets and giggles eucalyptus sheets. I miss that the most. I want to lie down in the bed right now and just go to sleep, all right? Because I didn't sleep well in the hotel. I never sleep well in the hotel. The sheets, they kind of suck. They're kind of rough. Now, I can't do that right now because I came in right away, got in front of the microphone, hit the record button. I got to get to the podcast. I got things to say. But I missed my sheets and giggles eucalyptus sheets. I'm now one of 100,000 Americans, over 100,000 Americans who are sleeping on sheets and giggles. And not just the sustainable eucalyptus sheets. I got a eucalyptus pillow, which I love. It's perfect for the way that I like to lay down and watch TV in bed. I don't need any other pillows to prop me up. Just the one does the trick. You got eucalyptus mattresses as well. Sheets and Giggles, one of the newest sponsors on ZASLOW Show 2.0. My man Colin, he's the founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles. So thrilled to have them here with us. This is week number 2 for them. You go to sheetsgiggles.com/ZASLOW. Use promo code ZASLOW, and you're going to get 20% off your first order. That's a great discount. Sheetsgiggles.com/ZASLOW. Sustainably made sheets from the wood of eucalyptus trees grown on sustainably managed biodiverse farms. It's environmentally friendly. We're talking up to 96% less water used, up to 30% less energy used than cotton sheets. They're so soft. Oh my God. 400 thread counts. And they're so easy to put on the mattress. They help you. It's got the little tag on the corner. It says lower left or upper right. So I don't have to fiddle around with it. I get the sheets on the bed. I lie down. I love it so much. Sheets and Giggles. Love having them aboard the show. Sheetsgiggles.com. All right. So I know Colin's happy about that Heat game last night. The Heat took that ass against the Knicks. Miami-Dade Arena. The Heat now, they got an opportunity. Before we talk about the actual game, they got an opportunity now. I thought they were going to be settled into number 7. But here's the scenario. That's not necessarily the case. The Heat did a terrible job. Think about if they would have won that game in Chicago. If they would have won that game in Chicago, they'd be sitting right now tied for number 6 with Brooklyn. Now, you have to remember, the Heat's next game is against Brooklyn. No matter what happens against Brooklyn, the Heat do not own the tiebreak. Brooklyn's already won the first 2. This is the final game coming up this weekend. But the Heat are 1 game back in the loss column of the Nets. The Nets, before this Saturday at Miami-Dade Arena, they're hosting, I believe, Cleveland tomorrow night. Now, they lost to Cleveland 2 nights ago. They're hosting Cleveland. No, actually, sorry, not tomorrow night. It's tonight. They're hosting Cleveland tonight. So if the Cavaliers win tonight, the Nets and Heat are even in the loss column. The Heat will actually be percentage points ahead of them because they'll have more wins, but that's all going to even out in the end. That's why you just got to pay attention to the loss column. Like, the Heat will be percentage points ahead of them if the Nets lose tonight, but it's meaningless. They'll both have 34 losses. So then, if the Heat take care of that business this weekend, then they would move ahead of them. And again, it doesn't matter that the Heat are going to win their division and that the Nets are going to finish, what are we talking, like 3rd or 4th in their division. The Nets own the tiebreak no matter what happens this weekend. But if the Nets lose tonight to Cleveland like they did a couple of nights ago, Saturday night could be for 6th place. Now, it's not like 6 and 7 are a huge thing in regards to who you're going to play in the first round, because we're not going to know until the last day. 6 and 7 are going to face Boston and Philadelphia. We don't know which. We're not going to know which. And for me, it's kind of the same thing. I think the Heat would have a better chance of beating Philly, but Boston has not been good for the last few weeks. So, whatever. What it's about is avoiding that play-in, which I don't think is a big deal, being number 7 in the play-in. I mean, look, Atlanta doesn't beat anybody, and the Heat defend Trae Young as well as anybody. You're telling me the Heat wouldn't beat the Hawks in a home game, and you get 2 chances to win 1 at home if you're number 7. So then if the Heat were to lose that game somehow to the Hawks, You'd face Toronto or Chicago. Toronto, Chicago play us tough, so maybe you don't want that scenario. But I feel really good about the Heat being able to beat Atlanta. I know there's a lot of people out there that want the Heat to get out of the play-in altogether. For me, it's not that big of a deal. You're going to wind up facing Boston or Philadelphia in the first round either way. So, but anyway, that's what's potentially on the line with tonight's game. Oh, a lot happening. So we got the tournament back. We got the Panthers. We'll get to that coming up. We got to keep an eye on the Nets and Cavaliers. This is setting up to be a huge weekend. But let's talk about last night. Let's talk about the Heat taking that ass. Now, look, if you haven't checked it out, I sent out a couple tweets. I retweeted it. Appreciate the guys at Knicks Film School who had me on the show this week. That was a lot of fun. I think Knicks are a good team. You know, that's why the Knicks won the first 2 games of this series against the Heat, of this season series against the Heat. I think the Knicks are good. So you can go check that out. I retweeted it. I was on their pregame show. They're part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network, just like ZASLOW Show 2.0. I had a lot of fun on the show. So Knicks Film School, you can go check that out. And I didn't go on there, mother effing the Knicks and the Heat are the best because that's stupid. I sound like a bumbling idiot if I do that. I'm not going to do that. I think the Knicks are good. I hate the Knicks. It's always at the Knicks in the ZASLOW Mansion. But see, I felt last night's game was more important for the Knicks than it was the Heat. The Heat, for all the reasons I just gave you. 6th, 7th place, you're going to face Philadelphia and Boston. For the Knicks, though, that game was huge for the Knicks, and it was a big loss for the Knicks because now they're just 1 game ahead of Brooklyn. 2 games ahead of Miami, if you want to do it like that, and the Heat play them again next week. Like, potentially the Heat could climb up to 5. Now, that's huge. But the Knicks want to stay at 5 as opposed to drop to 6 because it's a difference between playing Philadelphia or Boston or Cleveland in the first round. And that's a huge difference. Now, I may wind up, being hypocritical here with what I'm saying because the Heat are in a similar spot. You would rather face Cleveland in the first round than Boston or Philadelphia. By this time tomorrow, the Heat could be sitting 6th with a chance to gain even more ground, or separation, I should say, because they play the Nets on Saturday. Well, they play the Knicks again next week. And you could pick up a game like that, and then you would be even in the season series 2-2 with the Knicks. So if you were to finish with the same record as the Knicks, the Heat would own the tiebreak because the Heat are going to be Southeast Division champions while the Knicks are going to finish, I think, 3rd in the division. So maybe I'm wrong about not caring so much about getting out of number 7. Maybe the Heat actually have a shot at jumping up to number 5. So I may have to check myself in that regard. But last night, and we've been saying this for a few weeks now, playoff Jimmy's here, yo. And I love watching Jimmy Butler play. Playoff Jimmy arrived a few weeks ago. Go look at his numbers for the month of March. They're out of this world. And the Heat, I told you this when the Heat were struggling, when it looked like the Heat were a loss or 2 away from dropping to 10th, playoff Jimmy needed to show up now for the final month and a half of the season. Playoff Jimmy's here, and we're getting it every night. You haven't seen that kind of energy that you saw from Jimmy really the entire game last night. You haven't seen until this month of March. Playoff Jimmy's here, and I love watching this guy play. It is so my style of play. You guys know that. The grinded out type of games, that old school basketball. I know he's been shooting the 3 a little bit more lately, but he just wants to pound you. Let me bang, bro, let me bang. He wants to pound you. I love watching him play. It's so my style. Jimmy's my dog. There's no other way to put it. So, playoff Jimmy is here. The Heat win last night. They pull away late. Jimmy's trash talking Wade all night. I've never loved someone talking trash to Dwayne Wade the way that I love Jimmy Butler. Trash talking Dwayne Wade after hitting 3s. He's eyeing him down. I'm that guy. Oh, I love. Can Wade be here? Can Wade be at the game Saturday too? I guess Wade was at the World Baseball Classic the night before in the Heat suite. Then he went to the game. Come on. He's a secret agent, right? He's trying to do bad things to the Jazz. He's a secret agent. He's a double agent, right? Anyway, so I've never loved anyone trash talking Dwayne Wade the way that I loved Jimmy Butler that is my guy. That is so my style of play. I love watching him. And here's the thing. So I was on that Knicks film school pregame show last night. And, excuse me. And I told them, I love when the Knicks are good. I want the Knicks to be good. Now, I don't care how good the Knicks are right now. I want all that smoke. Like if the Heat were to face the Knicks in a series, give me a break. I want all that smoke from the Knicks. But I want the Knicks to be good. We're never going to get to what it was 1997 through 2000. It's never going to happen. But it can be better than it's been over the last 20 years. The Heat are always good, and the Knicks suck. Like I think this is the first time the Knicks have won 42 games in like 10 years. Something like that. Maybe since that playoff match was in 2013, that'd be 10 years, right? The last time the Heat and Knicks played in the playoffs. I love when the Knicks are good. Like, you're telling me, you watched that game last night, and even the game before it, where Julius Randle hit the crazy shot. You're telling me it's not fun when the Knicks are good? They're no threat to the Heat. If the Knicks are good, the rivalry is so on. That game was fun as hell last night. The Heat would smoke them in a series. They're no threat. But the Knick fan would go into the game puffing their chest out. They'd think that they're going to do something, and they could do nothing. Because when it comes to when the games matter, like last night, and if we were to face them in the playoffs, which we're not going to this year, but if we were, we want all that smoke. Knicks don't want this smoke. We want all that smoke. You can't tell me, oh, no, I want the Knicks to lose every game. No, I want the Knicks to be good. Yeah, I want the Knicks to be good so we could play in games like last night and take that ass. Yeah, it's so much better when the Knicks are good. I love it. I love when they're good. So, really good win for the Heat last night. Playoff Jimmy is here. Tyler Hero, huge fourth quarter, like always. And that's the scenario. That's the scenario right now. Winning that game last night. Brooklyn tonight. The Heat put themselves in a spot this weekend where they have a real chance to get number 6. And maybe, just maybe, a chance at number 5. Depending on what happens with the Knicks leading up to the game next week. See, you have a much better chance to win the tiebreak over the Knicks than the Nets. The Nets have won the tiebreak. With the Knicks, you got a chance to pick up a game on them with another win next week, and you would win the tiebreak because you're 2-2 season series, and you're going to win the division, and they're not. So, that'd be a hell, for people who are upset with the Heat this year, that'd be a hell of a finish if they can get to number 5. Hell of a finish. And then you'd have a real shot at getting to the second round. You would face Milwaukee in a second round. I don't know that anyone defends Giannis better than the Heat. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. Hey, we're going to talk to the voice of FAU men's basketball, Ken LaVicka. He's going to join us coming up. FAU tonight in the tournament. He was on the show last week. We had a lot of fun with him. You got the Canes tomorrow in the tournament, but the tournament resumes tonight. And you got FAU, Tennessee. So obviously, we're going to get into a little bit of that with Ken. He had the awesome call last week when they beat Memphis at the very end. Then they beat Fairleigh Dickinson as well. First, though, before we get to anything, I got some NBA. There was some controversy in the NBA I got to get to here. Look, you have a water leak. You have a water leak in your home. You can't find where it's coming from. Well, then you got to call or text Water Cleanup of Florida. 954-900-8635. You need immediate assistance because that can get out of hand. That could be bad, all right? Well, with over 60 years of combined experience, the team at Water Cleanup of Florida, come on, the Greensteins, you know what I'm talking about. They're going to handle any type of leak. They'll detect where the issue's coming from 24 hours a day, 365. After the leak has been located and repaired, Water Cleanup of Florida, they're going to clean, dry, and fully restore all the damaged areas. They're not just going to leave you. Yeah, Water Cleanup of Florida, fully licensed, insured, certified to provide the one-stop shopping that busy homeowners and busy owners require. You don't need to bring in other contractors. They're going to handle the entire project from start to finish, servicing Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. call or text Water Cleanup of Florida immediately when you see what could be a leak. 24/7, 365, 954-900-8635, or go to WCUFL.com, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida, we clean up your schmutz. All right, that's a good tagline. I dig it. So the NBA last night, some stuff that went down in the NBA last night we need to get to here right quick. By the way, I'm going to be on NBA radio tonight. SiriusXM NBA radio. You can also watch on the NBA app. There's video. I'm going to be on with Justin Termini and Sam Mitchell. That'll be 6:20-ish, 6:20 p.m. So you want to check that out. Termini's a pal, so I love going on with him. Love having him on ZASLOW Show 2.0. So we're going to talk some NBA. Probably going to talk a little Heat Knicks from last night. 6:20 p.m. SiriusXM NBA radio, or you could watch video on the NBA app. I'll be on with Termini at about 6:20, so I hope you tune into that. That'll be good. So the big story in the NBA last night, the Mavericks are protesting their loss to the Golden State Warriors. Now, they lost by 2 points. Okay, so it's a close game. The Warriors won on the road, which very rarely happens. And the Mavericks lost, which always happens now since acquiring Kyrie Irving. He's poison. Now, he didn't play last night because you can't expect him to play 3 games in a row. That's dehumanizing him. It's inhumane. So he did not play last night. Luka Doncic did return, though, last night. Since acquiring Kyrie Irving, the Nets are now 7-11. I believe 5-6 with him in the lineup. 7-11 overall. It's a disaster. Everyone saw it coming, but the Mavericks. Anyway, the Mavs last night lose to the Warriors. They're protesting the game. Now, they're not going to win this protest. A, because they don't have the grounds to win it. But also, games never, you never wind up having a game replayed over protest. The last time it happened, one of the only times, 2007, Miami Heat. Heat at Hawks. The Heat, with about 50 seconds left in overtime, Shaquille O'Neal fouled out of the game. He only had 5 fouls. One of the fouls earlier in the game was wrong. The Heat protested. The Heat lost the game. I don't remember by how much. But the Heat protested, and they won the protest because Shaq only had 5 fouls, and he was disqualified from the game. So the Heat won that protest. So the next time the Heat were at the Hawks, and it was in March. Game was in December originally. Next game was in March. Before the game, they replayed the final 51 seconds of the game. And then they started the next game. Here's the thing that made it so stupid. Shaq was traded by then. He was traded to Phoenix. So the Heat protested the game because Shaq was disqualified when he shouldn't have been. And then when they replayed the final 51 seconds of the game, Shaq wasn't on the team anymore. So it ended up making no difference. The Heat got to replay those final 51 seconds, still without Shaq, and they still lost the game. And then they played the next game. I don't know if you guys remember that. So that's the last time a game was played again because of a protest. Now, the Mavericks game last night. They're in the third quarter. There's a couple minutes left in the third quarter. They come out of a timeout. Now, here's what happened. So, there was an out-of-bounds play. Ball went out of bounds underneath on the baseline, underneath the basket of the Warriors' basket. Gets knocked out of bounds. I think it was knocked out of Kevon Looney's hand. Warriors ball. The referee signals. Then immediately after that, the referee points the other way. Did he change his call? No. He was pointing at the Mavericks bench on the other side of the court because it's an automatic timeout. TV timeout. So Warriors ball this way, Mavericks timeout, pointing at their bench. Well, there was some confusion there for a couple reasons. Number one, Kevon Looney was confused, said, I thought you said it was our ball. You could see this. He questions the referee, I thought it was our ball. And then the referee points again, Warriors ball. Because, yes, it's your ball. I was calling timeout for the Mavericks. The PA announcer in Dallas says Mavericks ball. Well, that's a blunder. Not on the referees, but that's a blunder by the PA. So we go to the timeout. The Mavericks think it's their basketball. The Warriors think it's their basketball. Well, it's the Warriors' ball. And the Warriors are about to run a play at their basket with no one defending them because the Mavericks think it's their ball and they're on the other side of the floor. Excuse me. So what happens next? Chaos. The referee under the basket hands the ball to Jordan Poole, who's begging for the ball because the Mavericks are not there. They give it to him. He hands it off to one of his guys. Dunk. And now the Mavericks are super pissed. You've never seen anything like it. And the Mavericks are like, what the hell? What the hell? Jason Kidd, coach of the Mavericks, is questioning the referee on the other end of the floor because he is seemingly out of position. He is in a position. You have the referee handing the ball under the baseline to Jordan Poole. Then you have the referee who's on the other side of the floor. If you understand referee mechanics at all, you have the referee on the other side of the floor who's also in the front court. And then the trail referee is supposed to be on the opposite side, but around half court. Instead, he's all the way full court, which leads you to believe he's certainly out of position. That referee, looks like he may be confused as well, thinking it's Mavericks ball, because he's in a position where the Mavericks are going to inbound the ball full court. Jason Kidd's question, why are you over there then? So Jason Kidd is upset, thinking it's supposed to be his ball because the PA announced it, and because the referee is out of position. But here's the thing. Your players cannot be setting up a specific way on the floor based on where the referees are. That doesn't happen. That's not a good enough excuse that we got screwed up because the referee was standing in the wrong spot. There is no reason that a player should care where any referee is standing except for the referee who has the basketball and is handing that ball to Jordan Poole on the other side of the floor. The Mavericks are all on the other side. So if the Mavericks, there's two things going on here. Either A, the Mavericks don't know what basket is theirs, and that's why all five of them are in their front court when the ball is on the other side, or they're just not paying any attention. They think it's their ball. If they think it's their ball, then they don't know what basket they're shooting on because all of their guys were on the other side. And if they thought it was their ball, why isn't anyone going to inbound the basketball on the other side? Jason Kidd drew up a play, full court, okay. Why isn't a Maverick player going to inbound the ball? Why isn't another Maverick player going with him to receive the inbounds pass and then bring the ball up? Instead, they're all just chilling there. So either they don't know what basket is theirs and they think they're on defense because it is Warriors ball, or they're just not dialed in because it's their ball and no one's going to inbound it or receive the inbound. Either way, it's a really, really bad look for the Mavericks. Here's Jason Kidd after the game.
Jason, did you get any kind of suitable explanation on the 2 points that somehow happened there in the second half?
It wasn't really explained. I think there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people were out of position. When you look at the court was split, we're on one side and the Warriors on another, and you have a referee on the baseline. Mike was on the baseline, so I would assume Mike thought it was our ball too. To explain to Mike or ask Mike, like, if there's confusion, it's easy to just come in and blow the whistle and get us restarted, because it was confusion. Understanding that we thought it was our ball, the referee pointed towards our bench, but that was the signal of the timeout. And so, but there was confusion on the play before it even started with whose ball it was, because he pointed, I thought, to us first, and then he changed it and then went to a timeout and pointed to us. So as I asked Mike, I said, Mike, why are you down the floor if you don't think, if it's not our ball? And so there was quite a few people out of position on that play. It's easy, it's correctable, but you first have to admit there was a mistake. but there wasn't, and so we have to continue to keep playing.
Now look, you can't blame Kyrie. He didn't play. Jason Kidd can talk about confusion all he wants, and he's right. The one referee was clearly confused. He was set up on the wrong side of the floor. But it's not the referee's job to make sure your team is not confused. The PA announcer for the Mavericks, not the Warriors. If the game was in San Francisco and the PA announced the wrong possession, maybe you got a case. That's your PA announcer. He was confused as well. The Warriors weren't confused. The Warriors knew whose ball it was. It is not the referee's job to go ask every player, hey, are you confused? 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 Not his job. The referee signaled Warriors ball. The Warriors knew whose ball it was. They blew the whistle. The Mavericks were just chilling on the other side of the floor, either not knowing which one's their basket or no one knows to come inbound the ball because they apparently think it's theirs, and they're wrong. The Warriors weren't confused. Your team was, Jason. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Mavericks. I think there's a lot of pressure on Jason Kidd. I think the Kyrie Irving trade's been a disaster, and they may miss the play-in entirely. So they're gonna take anyone else that they could blame, and now they're gonna protest. Yes, the referee is out of position there, but that has nothing to do with your players. Players are not running specific plays based on where the referee is standing, especially the referee who doesn't have the basketball and is giving it to a guy on the other team. Now, would I have preferred the referee who is inbound the ball to Jordan Poole, would I have preferred him to blow the whistle and kind of signal the Mavericks, say, hey, we're starting the play? Would I have preferred that? Yes. Yes, I would. I would like the referee. It's not his job. It's the NBA. It's professional basketball. Not his job. But I feel like a good referee is going to try and make sure, even if it's not his job, will go out of his way, will go above and beyond to make sure that the game is all on the up and up. Not his job in this spot, but I would have preferred the referee to say, hey guys, we're starting to play. Why are you all over there? That's what I would want out of my referee. But NBA referees are terrible. And NBA referees have been terrible all year. And can I also tell you something that I think plays a factor? Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic bitches and moans all game long. Do I think that a referee is going to go out of his way to help the Mavericks, to inform them, hey, you're on the wrong side of the floor, we're inbound the ball over here, and it's not your job? When you have the Mavericks and specifically Doncic bitching and moaning all game long? No, I don't think they will. How about when Luka Doncic puts his fingers together like this after a bad call where he's insinuating that the referees are on the take? You think the referees are going to go out of their way to make sure that the Mavericks know everything that's going on? No, I don't think so. And I think the referee in that spot decided, yeah, you know what? Screw them. I signaled Warriors ball. Here it is. That's what I think happens. So this game's being played under protest now. And here was Mark Cuban. All right. So here's Mark Cuban after the game, who, I mean, will never pass up an opportunity to get on the officiating. Here's Cuban. For those wondering about the play with 1:54 to go on the third, let me explain what happened. The ref called Mavericks ball. No, he didn't. There's video evidence. You can actually, it's not subjective here. There is video. He did not signal Mavericks ball. So Cuban's wrong right there. Like the protest, at this point, the protest probably shouldn't even be heard. Cuban is wrong. That is factually incorrect. The ref never called Mavericks ball. All right, Cuban goes on. The announcer announced it. Okay, well, that's true. It's your building. You employ that guy. Referees don't employ that guy. Referees have nothing to do with that guy. He's there to inform the crowd, the public. He's a public address announcer. He's not a player announcer. He's not a team announcer. He's not a referee announcer. He's a public address announcer. Okay. Then there was a timeout. During the timeout, the official changed the call and never told us. Not true. See, Cuban thinks that because he thinks that they called Mavericks ball, and if they gave it to the Warriors, they must have changed the call during the timeout. Both are factually incorrect. Then when they saw us line up as if it were our ball, he just gave the ball to the Warriors. I'm going to stop for a second there too. If you think it's your ball, why is no one going to inbound the ball? Why is no one going to receive the inbounds pass? All 5 guys were on the other side of the floor. Okay. Never said a word to us. They got an easy basketball. Now, that part, like I said, not the referee's job to make sure nobody's confused. But if there was confusion, which you can clearly see there has to be, I would have liked the referee to say something. But again, not his job. Not his job. Crazy that it would matter in a 2-point game. Worst officiating non-call mistake possibly in the history of the NBA. All they had to do was tell us, and they didn't. That part's true. All they had to do was tell them, and they didn't. But that's not their job. They do not have to do that. And they didn't. And that's why this is a ridiculous protest. And also, you got to look at the source. You got to look who it comes from. Cuban's always complaining. Always complaining. That team sucks. And they made a terrible trade. And now everyone's feeling the heat. And, no pun intended. And that's really what it boils down to. One other thing from the NBA last night I want to mention, and we've talked about this earlier in the season when the Suns played here at the Heat. So after the game last night, Suns lost last night to the Lakers, right? Suns lost to the Lakers? Let me check for the sake of accuracy. So the Suns lost last night at the Lakers, 122-111. Monty Williams has been on the officiating and the foul discrepancies all year long. Here's the Suns head coach postgame.
I spoke with Joe last week. I can sit here and rant and rave about what I feel like is not a fair whistle. It's just not. With the 46 free throws, we're doing the same. We're attacking the rim. I'm getting explanations about we're taking too many jump shots, mid-range jump shots. We're playing a physical game. They had 27 free throws in the first half. They end up with 46. When do you see a game with 46 free throws for one team? That's just not right. I don't care how you slice it. It's happening to us too much. Other teams are reaching, other teams are hitting, and we're not getting the same call. And I'm tired of it. It's old. 46 to 20 free throws with Devin Booker on our team. He gets 12. Josh gets, our bench had no free throws. That's just, I'm over it. Been talking about the same thing for a while. Doesn't matter what team it is. Last game, Shea gets, I think he had 19 free throws. 19, man. And it's old. And so I'm tired of talking about free throws. Our guys have to do their job. We understand that. But that's a huge disparity. 46 free throws. And I'll say it again, 46 to 20. That's it. That's all I got to say.
All right, so Monty Williams is over it. He's tired. I'm over hearing this complaint. Monty Williams has been doing this all year long. He did it after the Heat game. After the Heat beat them, he complained and cried about the foul disparity. Can someone show me the memo? Can someone show me where in the rule book it says that each team has to have the same amount of free throws? Can somebody show me where each team has to be called for the same amount of fouls? Can somebody show me where every game one team is super aggressive and obviously the other team is also super aggressive? Because it's not possible that one team shoots 31 three-pointers and the other team shoots 17, meaning one team is being a lot more reliant on the jump shot and the other team is getting at the basket more. That's not possible, right? Devin Booker, he mentions there, Devin Booker shot 12 free throws. Yeah, that's a ton of free throws. No one else on your team was driving enough. The Suns shot 31 threes. The Lakers only shot 17. The Lakers were Like, where are the rest of their shots going? They're clearly driving to the basket. They're going to get more calls. 46 free throw attempts to 20 free throw attempts. It's not possible that one team is more aggressive than the other. It's not possible that one team fouls more than the other because the Suns are 4th in the league in fouls per game. They play super aggressive defensively. They foul a lot. It was the same thing with the game here against the Heat, and Monty Williams cries afterward. One team is fouling more than the other. One team is more aggressive than the other. One team is shooting more three-pointers than the other. Monty's tired. Monty, you're complaining about this is tired. It's such a stupid argument. Where in the rulebook does it say one team has to shoot the same amount of free throws as the other team, or it's not fair? Where does it say one team has to be called for the same amount of fouls as the other team, or it's not fair? Let me know. Show me. I'll wait forever.